Assalamu alaikum and good morning. First of all, I would like to congratulate Brother President Day for assuming the role of chair of the OIC Information Ministers Conference here in Istanbul, Turkey. I thank the government and people of Turkey for their generous and warm hospitality during this 12th session of OIC Information Ministers. Pakistan believes that the significance of OIC's efforts in combating disinformation in the post-truth era cannot be overemphasized. We reiterate our commitment to the principles and goals enshrined in the OIC 2025 Program of Action on Media and Public Diplomacy. We are also committed to playing a critical role in ensuring capacity building and sharing of best practices within OIC member states. Excellencies, I would like to draw your attention to some of the major challenges faced by OIC member states and the role of media in addressing these challenges. Climate change is the biggest generational issue of our time. Recently, my country, Pakistan, has faced catastrophic and unprecedented climate-induced floods, causing massive loss of life, property, and livelihood. With over one-third of Pakistan's land underwater, more than 33 million people affected, over 1 million homes damaged, and over 500,000 people forced to move to relief camps. Climate-induced floods have resulted in losses estimated at 40 billion US dollars. With the Prime Minister of Pakistan leading from the front, the government of Pakistan has undertaken extensive operations for relief, recovery, and rehabilitation in the flood-affected areas. We are grateful to the international community, in particular OIC countries, for their invaluable contributions to the flood relief efforts. I would like to especially highlight extensive and multi-pronged assistance given by the Republic of Turkey under the President Erdogan's leadership. The catastrophic floods in Pakistan are a perfect example of the climate injustice many countries face today. Many member states of OIC, like Pakistan and Nigeria recently, are amongst the most climate vulnerable countries in the world, even though our carbon emissions are negligible. Media in the OIC member states has a responsibility to highlight and underscore the importance of urgent, unified, and decisive action by the international community to combat climate change and enhance climate financing, geared to building the necessary resilience, especially in vulnerable development countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the abhorrent phenomena of Islamophobia is not abating. Personal choices and fundamental freedoms are being constrained by denying religio-cultural symbols of faith. In our region, South Asia, hate speech and hate crimes against Muslims remain a source of increasing concern. Despite our efforts to the contrary, there has been a constant rise manifested in mob lynching, pre-planned communal riots, and negative portrayal in electronic and social media in India. We must intensify our efforts to combat Islamophobia. As a representative of the collective aspirations of Muslim Ummah, OIC is uniquely poised to lead this endeavor and must throw its full political and economic weight and clout in protecting the fundamental rights of Muslims and interests of Muslim minorities across the globe. In this respect, let me put forward a few observations and recommendations. Information colonialism has to be fought, and a new independent information regime has to be established. It is the deliberate use of instruments of information control that define perceptions about Islam and Muslims. Many Muslim countries now have independent media which has made inroads into people's mind about stereotyped image of Islam. But more needs to be done. in terms of creating information synergies among the Muslim states. The Muslim states also have to look within and tackle those currents and trends at home that feed misperceptions about Islam and the Muslim societies. More democracy, more public participation, more inclusivity, and focus on freedom of speech that is culturally sensitive and internationally projectable should be our goal to tackle the motivated misrepresentation. We must fight fake news with real news, fight bots with real people's aspirations, and fight trolls with genuine goals. Laws are needed to identify and prosecute promoters of hate and deception. However, we must continue to uphold basic freedoms. We must capitalize on the momentum generated by the adoption of UN General Assembly Resolution designating 15th March as International Day to Combat Islamophobia. We request the OIC Secretary General and the Chair to accord priority to appointment of a special envoy on Islamophobia as mandated by the Council of Foreign Ministers resolution in Islamabad. Formation of an OIC-led panel of experts would be useful to advise the OIC in dealing with incidents of Islamophobia as well as providing the support to the victims of Islamophobia in the evolving landscape of cyberspace. Excellencies, Pakistan pays tribute to the steadfastness of the Kashmiri and Palestinian people and calls upon the media in member states to continue providing maximum coverage to the suffering and brave struggle of the Kashmiri and Palestinian people who continue to face relentless aggression and violations of basic rights at the hands of Indian and Israeli occupation forces. Media in the OIC geography must accord priority to highlighting the systematic violations and transgressions and inform as well as educate the world on the reality and the magnitude of ensuing human rights and humanitarian crisis in occupied territories. On its part, Pakistan has been consistently leading peace efforts in the region from the front. We hope that Pakistan's efforts for durable peace and long-term development in the region will be reciprocated. Ladies and gentlemen, the OIC members must also coordinate their efforts to use wide-ranging media tools and options for showcasing true image of Islam and its teaching, propagation of tolerance and peaceful coexistence, and rejection of extremism and terrorism. In this regard, I would like to put forward the following recommendations to this August House. We would establish strategic partnerships among media organizations in the OIC member states. We should establish joint Islamic media action institutions for propagation of Islamic values like tolerance and for the protection of disinformation in the true spirit of Islamic solidarity. Department of Information of the OIC General Secretariat should lead collective efforts to counter disinformation and Islamophobia. It can select journalists from the member states and organize exchange visits, field trips to Jammu and Kashmir and Palestine with a view to facilitating investigative journalism with factual reporting by respective media outlets. OIC should institutionalize tangible targets for cultural and media exchange. We can also utilize the huge potential of screen tourism to enhance mutual understanding of our region, people, and cultures amongst OIC member states. Finally, we should establish a working group on disinformation, misinformation, and Islamophobia in the age of social media and cyberspace. The working group may work in an intersessional mode with the objective of sharing experiences, lesson learned, and case studies. The platform could also be used for standard setting by utilizing best practices and legislation across the OIC member states. Pakistan offers to host the first meeting of the working group as recommended above. I would like to conclude by saying that I am confident that constructive deliberations during this session will contribute meaningfully to our collective effort to counter disinformation and Islamophobia and enhance our mutual cooperation to ensure we can squarely and effectively address these challenges. I thank you.